Hello and welcome to That's a Wrap, a roundup of movie news from the past week. I am Joe Kohle. Here is what we are working on for you today. I will be joined by writer and podcaster for Next Best Picture, Gio Lago. We will discuss the box office success of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. We also have a picks preview today. One of the trailers that Gio and I will share our thoughts on is the recently released official trailer for Avengers Doomsday. And we will wrap things up with what to watch. This week, we are highlighting the film Motor City, which released in theaters nationwide today. We will have my interviews with the film's stars, Alan Ritchson and Ben Foster. I recently spoke with them on the red carpet ahead of the film's New York premiere at the Museum of Modern Art. Let's now bring in writer and podcaster for Next Best Picture, Gio Lago. Gio, thank you for joining us again. Nice to see you. Nice to have you back on.
It's always great to be back.
Fantastic. So we're going to begin today with the box office success of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. According to Box Office Mojo, the film earned $123.5 million in its opening weekend at the domestic box office, making it Nolan's biggest debut since 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. It is also the third largest domestic opening of the year, following Toy Story 5 and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So The Odyssey had the highest grossing domestic opening for a live action film this year. At the international box office, the film earned $140.3 million for a worldwide total of $263.8 million, giving Nolan his biggest global opening ever. Premium large format screenings reportedly contributed to 53% of the film's domestic total, and IMAX says the company recorded a record-breaking global opening with The Odyssey, with IMAX screenings accounting for $52 million of global ticket sales, and IMAX 70mm locations delivering $6.3 million. The film delivered the second biggest domestic opening weekend ever for IMAX, the biggest opening ever for a Universal Studios IMAX release, and the biggest IMAX opening ever in July. The movie also scored the best ever domestic opening for Matt Damon and the fourth best R-rated opening, only behind the three Deadpool films. And Deadline says The Odyssey earned $18.6 million on Monday for the best Monday year-to-date in North America and $21.4 million on Tuesday for Nolan's best Tuesday ever at the domestic box office and the second best Tuesday of the year. And it doesn't seem like the film's success at the box office will slow down anytime soon, as IMAX says that it will play in IMAX 70mm locations for at least 5 weeks, and that many of these locations are already recording sellouts deep into its run. A new group of IMAX 70mm tickets were released this week, with many of the new screenings selling out within hours. And according to Variety, there are no IMAX 70mm tickets available through August 19th in both New York and Los Angeles. Gio, I know you have already seen The Odyssey a few times. Were they all in IMAX 70mm?
No, 2 in IMAX 70, and then I did the normal DCP.
We got people out here suffering, not even being able to see it once, and you got 2. That's fantastic. All right, so I wanted you to share your thoughts on the film, but I also want to know what you make of the film's box office success.
I mean, I'm not going to digress far from the consensus of the film. It's great. I loved it. It was my most anticipated film of the year so far. As someone who's read the text a few times, I just even ran it back, both the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Fagles translation. I thought it was a very interesting iteration, very bleak, very Christopher Nolan in all the best and worst ways. And I think it's just an immense experience sitting there at IMAX 70. I mean, you saw it too. You got to experience it. It's just this all-consuming thing that makes you want to go to the movies, that you wish more movies were like this. And I think that's what we're seeing in the box office. We are seeing, besides Christopher Nolan being an incredibly popular name draw, that I think there was like some statistic that more people are seeing the movie because of Christopher Nolan, like 51% compared to the people in the movie. And that's saying something because Zendaya and Tom Holland are in it. And he is our premier filmmaker of his generation. People will go see things because he makes it. People know that when they see something, it's an event. It's spectacle. And we are having people fight out for IMAX 70 tickets like they are, trying to Trojan horse their way into a screening. And it's great. It fills my heart because this is what I want to see. I want to see grandiose filmmaking and like old style epics come back to the screen, and a commitment to practicality and just movies that are great. And that's what makes people want to go to the movies. And, it also sucks to a degree because I'm like, we need more IMAX 70 cameras. The CEO at the New York premiere recently was like, yeah, they really need to get on that. And so I'm like,
IMAX 70
you're
theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, you're they, man. I don't know why you're saying that. Make more. I know they've spent so much time refurbishing a lot of the cameras. There's only like maybe 40 in the country that you can
theaters,
actually
yeah,
that you can actually see in its true format, and that doesn't take away if you see it in DCP or 70 millimeter or whatever. It's still a great time. But yeah, we need more of those theaters. The demand is there. People want to go to the movies. People want to be enthralled. And Nolan, again, I've said this on the show multiple times, in a post-Oppenheimer world, this industry is his. So now we're seeing the ramifications of like this guy finally showing, hey, okay, this is a big blank check. I'm curious to think what he will think of years from now, because he's already said he wants to take a break.
Yeah, how do you go?
But
bigger?
I can't even imagine. I think he might. There's him and Tom Cruise.
He's been talking. Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be bigger.
Or maybe like a Leo reunion. Or maybe
him and Chalamet or something.
Yeah, after doing Damon and Holland, we get Leo and Chalamet. You were on the show in May after the official trailer came out. We talked about how it continued the controversy that the film was facing, or the criticism that the film was facing. And my favorite thing about the incredible box office success of the movie is that we now get to just say that was dumb and pointless.
Pure lunacy, like from every aspect, whether it's the right-wing stuff where people are complaining, they're like, this is going to bomb. I was like, you are in an entirely different reality that conservatives are going to be like, oh, I can't go see the new Christopher Nolan movie. Like,
right.
Come on,
but it was definitely a thing that got picked up by a lot of outlets and was a real focus, but it really obviously was a little bit of the tail wagging the dog, in that it was not representative of how most people felt, even though it was like one of the most disliked trailer in the history of YouTube. It got like 750,000 dislikes. We really need to, I guess, stop paying such credence to those things. But yeah, I was just struck by, I love the movie. I really loved it.
What? No way.
I was just struck because everyone talks about Nolan's movies from the perspective of them being technical achievements, but I was just really struck by how it relates to today's world, and it being achievement from a writing perspective, and also like the similarities between the movie and a lot of other of Nolan's movies.
I mean, even Oppenheimer, it goes tandem with one another.
Yeah. I mean, besides the whole like non-linear storytelling thing, a lot of Nolan, this has been said before, a lot of Nolan's movies are about returning home, like Inception, Leo trying to get back home, getting back home to the main character's children, which is Interstellar and Inception. But a lot of Nolan's films also deal with the idea that civilization is fragile and precarious, and they explore what it takes to preserve or rebuild civilization or make it function and flourish. All of those things tie to the Odyssey, and it's really cool to see how all the films, instead of like, I don't think you could say that it's derivative with like his other movies. I think he's just continuing to iterate on this main idea that, and obviously Nolan realizes that in the real world, the values that allow a civilization to thrive have been increasingly neglected. And he tries to highlight the qualities that can make society flourish and function. And I think it's really cool that he's able to do those things while also making movies that rip and and that are just like super entertaining and fun to watch.
Very satisfying. I said in like my recent thoughts, I was like, that third act of the Odyssey, and avoiding details for people who don't know 3,000-year-old text, maybe the most satisfying third act of an American film of its pedigree since like Top Gun Maverick and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for me.
Yeah.
Like every little payoff is just so satisfactory to me. And also just, let's get Leguizamo an Oscar now. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, speaking of Oscars, on Tuesday, Next Best Picture published an article that you wrote titled Analyzing the Oscar Potential for the Odyssey. Can Christopher Nolan win Best Picture Director again? If the film does win Best Picture, Christopher Nolan will become only the second filmmaker ever to win Best Picture for consecutive films. In your article, you said the Odyssey had stepped in to take the way too early frontrunner mantle for Best Picture. So I want to talk about its Best Picture potential and its overall Oscar prospects. So a two-part question. Can you elaborate on how likely you think it is that the Odyssey will maintain its frontrunner status all the way through the award season? And there has been some talk about the potential for the film to tie or break the record set by Sinners last year for the most nominations ever. Do you think the Odyssey has the potential to be that kind of historic Oscar contender?
It's so early, and hence why I gave it the designated way too early front runner, because it's usually never a good thing to be the way too early front runner. I think certain times narratives work out where it pays off, like last year. It's when there's overdue narratives, like even Nolan for Oppenheimer, when that movie happened, we're like, okay, it's done. It's his time. He doesn't really have that this year. I see him more likely winning director again compared to winning Best Picture again. It happens all the time in that director's branch. They don't care about repeats, and Inarritu did it. Spielberg did it. So I think the case is more so, can this film last a momentum? We're about to start fall film festival season. You know, Venice just announced their lineup this morning. Toronto has been announcing. New York Film Festival has been announcing those big three of their opening and centerpiece and closing. So there's going to be stuff that comes out through that could take the mantle. I mean, the only film that has been watched so far this year, in terms of watched, has played at a festival or is released at... No, actually, it would be La Bola Negra, which has the power of Netflix, and compared to Fjord, is a very, I wouldn't say epic in the sense of like it isn't this David like large scale film, but it is kind of like a brutalist-esque. Like it takes place over these different generations of these Spanish gay men, you know, from the Spanish Civil War into modern day, and it's a very sweeping film, and that is something that is very digestible by crowds. I think that's maybe the only thing, because it also has a lot of below the line potential to win stuff and a screenplay win
of stuff that's already come out, you're saying.
Yeah. Fjord is a very tough movie to swallow. I think that's going to be the very artsy critical pick that critics lean on this year and could get noms, but I don't see it winning. Like the noms are the wins for that film. It's a very challenging movie. But yeah, La Bola Negra is the only thing. And Netflix, you know, trying to finally get their win. Is it going to prove that like Netflix can never win Best Picture? Can Nolan do it again? It's certainly possible. I think like off the top of my head, this like Anne Hathaway can win. It can win cinematography. Ludwig can win score again. If it wins a couple, maybe editing it wins again, then I don't see why it wouldn't win Best Picture. And like in terms of breaking the nomination thing, I think what we need to keep in mind is that when Sinners came out, 3 weeks in, I was like, okay, this is a real deal. Like, this is actually, because I never thought Sinners was going to be an Oscar. I thought it was going to be just something that's cool. And then 3 weeks in, I'm like, something's different. We never expected that movie to rack up acting nominations like it did at this point. Like, if you would have told us a year out from Sinners being released, Michael B. Jordan's winning Best Actor, we wouldn't buy that. Like, a nomination, it would be like, that's awesome, but like, that's not happening. That movie ended up getting, you know, Michael B., Woomy, Delroy. I don't know if the Odyssey is gonna struggle trying to get those nominations, because I think Damon's in a good spot, especially if other actors fall. Like, let's say Digger, the new Tom Cruise film, is just terrible. Cruise is out of the race. Malkovich doesn't have the goods to win. Fjord is too challenging, and Stan misses. Like, Damon gets a good spot that not only his nomination's good, he can win, but he is tied to a movie that is getting nominated, which helps him a lot. And Leguizamo, like I mentioned earlier, there's always a nomination every year that is just a very organic thing that people have gravitated towards. And I'm getting the same vibe, while it's not like the same type of performance. The supporting performance that like everyone's talking about is Anne Hathaway. She's a winner. Very Sean Penn last year. But when people watch One Battle, they're like, I really liked Benicio del Toro in that movie. He's great. And if Leguizamo can rack up critics circles, he can get in. He's someone who has worked in this industry for a very long time, very respected. He's an Emmy winner. And then Samantha Morton's the tough one, where if it's really overperforming,
do you think they could try to put Hathaway in lead so Morton could get in supporting?
That's what I suggested in the article. For now, what I've been told is that they are very firm with Anne Hathaway in supporting actress. So the thing is, supporting actress looks very weak right now on paper, pre-Fall Fest. Maybe if they just glaze the movie, they put more in too. But
so it really seems like the 16 nominations is going to be dependent on the acting categories
and song.
and original
if they go
song.
for the Travis Scott, if they go for the Travis Scott song, which I for now have it in, but like I would not be shocked if they're like, we're good.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be interesting to see. We got Dune Part 3 coming out at the end of the year too, which
another tech heavy movie, which could, throw a wrench at some of those plans. Yeah.
All right. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Gio and I are going to share our thoughts on the recently released trailer for Avengers Doomsday. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm still here with writer and podcaster for Next Best Picture, Gio Lago. It is time now for Picks Preview, where we break down the latest trailers and teasers for some of Hollywood's most anticipated films. On Monday, Disney and Marvel Studios released the official trailer for Avengers Doomsday. The trailer first debuted at CinemaCon in April. Doomsday will bring together almost every Marvel hero across different universes: the Avengers, the Wakandans, the New Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men, all to face a new supervillain in Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr. in his Marvel return. Downey Jr. is, of course, known for his previous MCU role as Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. The trailer gives the first official look at him as Doctor Doom and also reveals his voice for the character. It also shows Chris Evans' return as Steve Rogers as he reunites with Chris Hemsworth's Thor. The massive cast of Doomsday also includes Pedro Pascal, Paul Rudd, Anthony Mackie, Florence Pugh, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Backrack, Wyatt Russell, Channing Tatum, Simu Liu, Ian McKellen, Tom Hiddleston, James Marsden, Patrick Stewart, Joseph Quinn, Sebastian Stan, David Harbour, Letitia Wright, Louis Pullman, and many more. The film is directed by the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony Russo, who are also returning to the MCU after previously directing 2014's Captain America: The Winter Soldier, 2016's Captain America: Civil War, 2018's Avengers: Infinity War, and 2019's Avengers: Endgame. They will also be directing the sequel to Doomsday, Avengers: Secret Wars, which is set to release on December 17th, 2027. The two films will serve as the culmination of the multiverse saga, which began in 2021 and consists of Phase 4, 5, and 6 of the MCU. According to Variety, the trailer was viewed 503 million times over 24 hours, making it the second biggest movie trailer launch of all time, behind Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Avengers Doomsday releases in theaters on December 18th. Gio, what did you think of this trailer?
It was garbage. It was hot garbage. It looks absolutely terrible. Let's be honest. Let's have a moment of honesty, Joe and I. This movie looks terrible. And from a number of reasons. One, hilarious. They're like, after the Odyssey comes out, they're like, we got to cash in on people going to movies. Yeah, they're getting ahead of the curve. Yeah, they should have just waited till Comic-Con. Frankly, just wait. Instead, you do it the week after the Odyssey, where I'm watching them like recreate a Cyclops and whirlpools in the water and film in the ocean. I have to watch Gray the movie.
When you do watch the Odyssey in the way that looks, and then you watch this, it is striking.
Garbage. Yeah, it's one is made by people with talent, and the other is by a machine that just cranks out movies with a story of what? I'm watching guys just stand. Nothing's happening. Wow, Shang-Chi is fighting Gambit. You're telling me a guy who I haven't seen since his solo movie in 4 years is fighting an actor who had the most Make-A-Wish pipeline to play a character for a movie that never existed.
He's kind of cool.
And they've been in
Deadpool and Wolverine.
For a joke, man. And I'm supposed to feel something. I gotta watch.
I did not think they were bringing him back. That's kind of
Thor literally going to them and being like, I fought with way better guys than you, and they died. Yeah, man. They're in rebuilding year. That's what they are right now. They're looking like the Washington Wizards of Avengers. They look terrible. It looks terrible.
They got Thor and Captain America. It's basically the same, except for no Black Widow and no Iron Man.
Cool, because
it all really started going bad with Jonathan Majors. And how they had to pivot And it was,
Yeah.
they were trying to
You know what they
build
could
to
have done?
Kang.
Recast. It was the simplest thing.
Kevin Feige has said that they were planning to pivot away from Kang before the whole Jonathan Majors things happened. But yeah,
No, they weren't. That is copium. Everything about this is copium. Getting Chris Evans to come back, copium. Also, by the way, ending your trailer on a reveal, we already knew he was back. Whack. Cool. Robert Downey Jr. coming back. Copium. The Russo brothers coming back. Copium. They've been on a 3-streak stinker. They can't direct a movie right now to save their lives. Infinity Vision, because they don't get IMAX screens because Dune has taken it all, so they're trying to do a fancy rebrand. Copium. All of it's copium. They know that they have lost the cultural war. People
I
will
love
care
Marvel, and it is a little sad.
Yeah.
It seems like it's best.
Joe, we used to care about this like years ago. Like, remember when Endgame came out, and we're like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
Well, I talked with Eric Davis about how obviously that was planned in a very meticulous way with the Thanos story, where Thanos was first introduced at the end of the first Avengers film, in the post-credit scene, and how it was the way the story played out was like all building to that, the story of the MCU, and how this seems like there hasn't been the same build-up, and it's kind of just thrown together. And
they're throwing excrement on a wall and hoping something sticks. Okay, like this is just embarrassing. This is sad. Like it's frankly like watching Shaq on the Celtics.
$1.5 billion?
Yes, because we're sheep. Yeah, people are gonna go see it. Like that's my whole thing. Like
I got my ticket in Infinity Vision already.
Oh, I don't have my ticket yet. And like frankly, I think that if this makes less than $1 billion, that's in my opinion. It's not gonna make
less. I just feel like with how successful Endgame and Infinity War were, it needs to like make way more than $1 billion in order for Marvel to be happy. And that will be
What if
Spider-Man Brand New Day might make more?
That movie might not even be all that, but that will always make money because Spider-Man and people like Batman, those are like bulletproof characters. Like people will turn out regardless. People have too much of a infinity for them. An Avengers lineup that I'm like, sure, Ant-Man. Like, wait, what are we doing? Yeah, the Thunderbolts. Me when I watch another character pull out a gun to fight Doctor Doom.
And I think they were hoping Fantastic Four would be, and that movie kind of just
a movie no one thinks about. Yeah, because it wasn't good, and it was just frankly like all aesthetic and nothing underneath it. And now you're bringing them in, and like none of it like matters. Like none of it is important. There's no setup. And what if this movie's just not good and Dune? Like part 3 really is like the Return of the King.
I said to Eric Davis that I could see a situation where Dune Part 3 makes more because of the growing enthusiasm for that franchise, because of the IMAX exclusivity. Yeah, well, because of the IMAX exclusivity, and also because of superhero fatigue, and because they're not being the same build up to this movie in the way that there was for previous Avengers movies. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. I think that's fascinating, but we don't need to.
Which one are you seeing first?
Hopefully Dune Part 3. I got a ticket for Avengers Doomsday on the Sunday of the first weekend that it's out. I don't know if
both in the same day. I would do Avengers first, because imagine you'd start with Dune,
right, and
you're just on that high. And then Avengers just sucks so bad. You're just going to be disappointed the rest of the day. You want to do it the opposite way. It's like the reverse of Barbenheimer.
I think both of those in one day will be
exhausting.
Yeah. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on to another trailer. On Thursday, Sony released the official trailer for Zach Cregger's Resident Evil movie. The film is an adaptation of the popular horror video game series that launched in 1996, which involves characters surviving environments inhabited by zombies and other mutated creatures after an outbreak of a deadly virus. The movie does not feature characters from the games. Cregger revealed in an interview with Inverse in August that he wanted to create a new and original story that is also a love letter to the games and follows the rules of the games. Per the film's logline, it follows Austin Abrams as Brian, a medical courier who unwittingly finds himself in an action-packed, non-stop race for survival as one fateful, horrifying night collapses around him in chaos. Cregger directed the film from a script he co-wrote with Shay Hatton. Abrams also had a role in Kreger's 2025 film Weapons. Kreger also wrote and directed 2022's Barbarian. The cast of Resident Evil also includes Zach Cherry, Callie Reese, and Paul Walter Hauser. The film will release in theaters and IMAX on September 18th. What did you think of this trailer?
That was good. I'm just all in.
Yeah, Paul Walter
And
Hauser
also-
at the end. Maybe you missed
Yeah,
that
I
because
know,
it was
but
like,
I just, yeah. I also am just like kind of watching the trailer for the purpose of the show so we could talk about it, but also kind of like I don't want to see everything because I mean that first trailer had me in. Like everything Zach Kreger's described about it feels like the right antithesis to video game movies, where he wants to capture the environment spiritually of it and not just like
so many of the
lore
shots
dumping.
seemed like video game shots, but in a good way. You know what I mean?
And you're watching this now and you're like, yeah, I get it. And I think Austin Abrams also is just a really exciting actor to see him. Another from the crop of Euphoria talents who probably, wasn't the immediate star compared to like Sweeney and Jacob Elordi and even Hunter Schafer, who all blew up quickly. But it seems like he's just been consistently putting in work. And like this feels like his year where it's going to really shift.
Whalefall.
Yeah, Whalefall. I just want to watch him get swallowed up by that whale. What can I say?
I talked about this when the teaser trailer came out. Kreger has talked about how he's a massive fan of the games. He did like a breakdown of the trailer for IGN, the first trailer, and you could just tell about the way he talks about it that he's a legitimate super fan. He said in his appearance at CinemaCon that the film is a big, scary ride, and he hoped it would be true to the spirit of the games. He said, unlike his previous films, there's going to be no narrative acrobatics, time jumps, or disorienting chapter things. But yeah.
Did you hear how long it is?
No, is it short?
It's 95 minutes.
Oh,
that's what I've been hearing.
That's cool.
Just a lean and mean, I've heard, just horror Mad Max.
That's great. We're going to talk about one more trailer. On Wednesday, 24 released the official trailer for Misty Green. The film is a drama written and directed by Chris Rock. This is the official logline. Years after her Hollywood breakthrough, a talented actress whose career has stalled fights for her second act. Rosalind Eleazar stars in the title role alongside Rock, Adam Driver, Daniel Kaluuya, Anna Kendrick, and Topher Grace. Misty Green marks Rock's fourth feature as a director following 2003's Head of State, 2007's I Think I Love My Wife, and 2014's Top 5. The film will premiere in the Gala Presentations section at the 2026 Toronto International Film Festival in September. A24 released the official poster for Misty Green on Tuesday. A release date for the movie has not yet been set. Gio, what did you think of this trailer? Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look that... I will say...
Kaluuya and Adam Driver.
I mean, Kaluuya looks like he's what? Oh, he's the brother with mental health issues and he's a loose cannon. I'm just like, okay, so it's just room for Kaluuya to just go over
crazy,
the top. I'm sure,
big.
yeah, I'm sure he's going to make an interesting spin of it. If anything, I'm excited to see Rosalind Eleazar because I'm a big fan of her from Slow Horses. And she did Rose of Nevada, which is out now. If people are listening, you should go to Lincoln Center. I think they're still playing it there, hopefully. So it's good, but like everything. Wow.
Did you like Top 5?
I like Top 5. I thought it was fun. But like this, when the whole log line is kind of her career is derailed, it's like, yeah, when you slap that person, I'm like, give me a break, Chris Rock. We get it. You were slapped on live national television. First I'm hearing about this. Can't believe it. Chris Rock slapped at the Oscars. It looks
checked out I am that I didn't even make that connection.
It looks familiar. Like it just looks like I've seen this movie before. The trailer's fine. The fact it's playing at Toronto kind of tells me all I need to, where there's always films directed by celebrities, whether it's directorial debuts or just features they do. And a lot of times it kind of just like mets in the middle. It has a very buzzy ensemble, but like I watched that trailer and I went on with my day. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I think it looks good. We'll see. But
you don't sound so enthused.
No, I mean, like I thought Top 5 was good and fun, but I think a little disjointed and didn't like fully work for me. And it's interesting that Chris Rock is, obviously he's one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, maybe one of the top 5, 10 stand-up comedians, but he seems to, with these last two films, be interested in doing something that's more dramatic. He has said that Woody Allen is his biggest influence as a filmmaker. I remember in the episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee that he was a guest on, him and Jerry Seinfeld were like talking about steroids in baseball. And Chris Rock was like, would I take a pill to write and direct a movie like Woody Allen? You're damn right I would. So he seems like it seems like trying to fit that mold. You know, he's talked about how he thinks the reason Allen is great is because a lot of his films that are comedic are also dramatic, and that Woody Allen understands that in order to have good jokes, you need the drama as well. So it seems like he's trying to do that.
Tap into that. The thing is, though, we got that this year already because Olivia Wilde kind of took the Woody Mike Nichols-esque film with the invites, and that movie's great. And I remember seeing the trailer for that and being like, oh, that looks amazing. And I watched the trailer for this, and Invite's great. Go see it, guys, if you haven't seen it.
All right. Well, Gio, thank you for joining. I enjoy it. Thank you for joining with a Dune Part 3 hat. That is my most anticipated film. You saw that.
Well, and I'm a little upset because the IMAX 70, it's not the full thing that they were showing. I know,
they were showing like 9 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's because we can't fit everything on the IMAX platter. That's why Nolan cut down the Odyssey. One few gripes I have with the movie. But
I think it should be longer.
It looks great. Yeah, it should have been longer. Give me more. Come on.
Gio, I wish this was longer, but we got to go. Oh. I appreciate you joining.
Well, thank you so much. I'm always happy to be here.
I'll talk to you soon. All right, buddy.
I'll talk to you soon.
Coming up, a new movie to watch in theaters this weekend is Motor City. I was recently on the red carpet ahead of the New York premiere of the film. We will have my interviews with some of the cast. That's after a quick break. Welcome back. It's time now for What to Watch, where we put the spotlight on movies hitting both theaters and streamers. Today, we are highlighting Motor City, the action thriller from Independent Film Company, officially released in the United States today after premiering at the 82nd Venice International Film Festival in August. It stars Alan Ritchson, Ben Foster, Pablo Schreiber, Lionel Boyce, and Shailene Woodley. This is the film's official logline. In 1970s Detroit, a working-class romantic played by Ritchson is framed by a ruthless gangster played by Foster after falling for his girlfriend. After years in prison, he returns with only one mission: revenge. Motor City is unique in that it only has a few lines of dialogue. Jack White serves as the movie's music director, and he helped to curate a soundtrack of needle drops to help drive the film forward. Last week, I had the privilege of attending the New York premiere of Motor City at the Museum of Modern Art. I got to interview some of the cast on the red carpet ahead of the screening. I spoke with Ritchson, who also serves as a producer on the film, about working with director Pazzi Poncheroli to strike the right balance between the movie's action, drama, and romance. I also asked him how they work to elevate the film's action sequences and make them stand out from other action films.
We talked a lot in prep, obviously, about what kind of movie we're making, tonally, how to like capture what was on the page, which was Chad St. John, the writer, did an incredible job. It's really just about honoring what was there. But I was very much coming into this like thinking we're making an action movie that is a drama. And he was very much like, not to me. I think this is a drama with some action. And so that was the place that we were working from. And it was kind of a fun tension. It was always like we were always working from the same side of the line, which really makes for something great. So the compromises that you make are healthy. It was I'd give anything to work with him again because we work so well together. But I was always trying to advance and protect the action. He was trying to advance and protect the emotional heartbeat of the story and those dramatic scenes. And I think we ended up with something great. And I've been doing the action thing for a long time. I've got my 10,000 hours in that world, and I really like a certain style, aesthetic, and storytelling within the action. Ryan Taryn was my stunt double for many years, and he's moved into fight design with me. And we were actually on the set of Reacher, season 3, shooting the Olivier Richter fight, Polly the Giant, and we were in a pool that we'd converted to the underwater stuff. I would finish a scene fighting this giant, dripping wet. I'd run over to our little green room that we had a computer set up, and he and I would type out in Final Draft, like, a beat-by-beat play of what we would actually do for the action, way more specific than what was there. And we ended up like, a 4-page sequence of like what the elevator fight, it would have had to have been like a skyscraper in Dubai for the amount of fight that we had in that elevator. But we just put it all on the page. This is what our target is, condense it down. And we did that for all the fights. And so I think that, to me, I mean, bringing that kind of like style, creativity, imagination, preparation, and the rules that we play with when we build those kind of things was a lot of fun. And Potsy was wide open to it and was up for the handoff. So I think it made for something really compelling.
I also got the chance to speak with Foster about the experience of acting in a film with essentially no dialogue and what it was like to work with both Woodley and Richson.
For my own personal life, so much of our lives is experience between the words. And people lie with the words, people sell with the words, but who you are inside often happens in the spaces in between. I think this film is the space between a lot of flashbang, sex, and violence. So I'd like to see this movie. She's a ferociously present actor. And in our department, I don't need to know the answer. But I do like surprise. And she's always surprising and present. So that's a gift. He's incredibly physically capable. I think he's got his heart in the right place. He's a formidable man. So being a man of my stature, I had to learn how to chop a big tree down.
All right, before we go, some stories from this week that were left on the cutting room floor that we did not have the time to get to. Universal Pictures releasing the official trailer for its upcoming horror film, Other Mommy, starring Jessica Chastain, which is set to release on October 9th. I thought it should be called Other Mother. I think that was right there for them, but Other Mommy. Sony Pictures releasing the final trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which will premiere in theaters on July 31st. DC Studios releasing the official trailer for Clayface, which will be the next installment in the DCU and release in theaters on October 23rd. Ryan Reynolds confirming that there will eventually be another Deadpool movie, saying during a panel at Fanatics Fest that it may explore deep cuts from the Marvel anti-heroes comics. Universal Pictures' Snoop Dogg biopic starring Jonathan Davis being set to release in theaters on August 6th, 2027. Sacha Baron Cohen taking to social media to officially unveil his secret Ali G movie titled Ali G, Who Is I, and announced that it will release in theaters on October 23rd. A24's Prime Time, starring Robert Pattinson as To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen, being set to release in theaters nationwide on September 25th. Deadline reporting that Glenn Powell will be reuniting with Richard Linklater for a film at Universal Pictures centered on Lou Gehrig. Powell will play the iconic New York Yankee with Linklater attached to direct and Simon Rich writing the screenplay, and Lorne Michaels will produce under his company Broadway Video in its first look deal with Universal. And Variety reporting that Jonathan Levine is in talks to direct Tom Cruise in Paramount's Days of Thunder sequel. That does it for today's edition of That's a Wrap. Be sure to stay tuned for more on Pix11 Plus. I am Joe Kohle. Thank you for watching.